no air conditioning, no heat, pests, and mold. Those are the top complaints we hear from renters again and again. And a big part of that complaint is that nobody's doing anything to fix it.
Who do you talk to? Say you live in a large apartment complex. The person you talk to on Tuesday about who can make this repair isn't the person you talk to on Friday when you try to follow up and try to confirm when someone might be coming out. My name is Greg Zlotnick. I am the visiting clinical assistant professor for the Consumer Protection Clinic here at St. Mary's University School of Law.
St. Mary's Law School runs a housing hotline, 210-570-6135. Renters can call to get advice on the problems they're dealing with in their home or apartment, and the help is free.
When we get those calls, we try to walk people through what the law says in Texas, what some of the guarantees under the Texas Property Code are for tenants, what some of the responsibilities are for them in terms of how to provide that notice, and what steps can be taken at what time.
Renters can also get free help through the city.
They have the right to live in a safe space. Vanessa Jimenez. I am the Housing Access and Stability Administrator for the Neighborhood and Housing Services Department with the City of San Antonio.
This city department provides tenant-landlord mediation.
So if there's a tenant that needs information on, well, how do I read my lease? Can I break my lease? They could come to us and we could help.
That mediation doesn't mean an uncomfortable face-to-face meeting with your landlord who refuses to fix things. Instead,
we'll get the information from the tenant, provide me with your landlord information. Do I have permission to contact your landlord and talk with them? Provide me with your lease agreement, etc. And then it's usually mostly on the phone.
The number for renters to call to get that help, 210-207-5309. Something to remember, though.
We don't come with a badge. We are not code compliance. We are not going out and providing, checking on whether or not violations or et cetera have been followed up with.
But this city department does share information with code enforcement if there are code issues that need fixed. The city has an online dashboard that allows you to look at how many violations apartments have and which ones the city says aren't doing enough to make repairs. It's a tool that could help you decide where to live before you sign a lease. When there's a problem with your apartment or your rental home, you need your landlord to fix it. But there are some things that you should do too. What is the biggest mistake you think tenants make when trying to make a fix happen, but really turns out to be to their own detriment?
Folks stop paying their rent. You run the risk of being evicted for non-payment of rent if you stop paying your rent, even if the conditions in your apartment are substandard, even if they affect the health and safety of the folks living there.
Texas law requires tenants to keep paying rent no matter the issues you're dealing with. You're much less likely to get things fixed if you fall behind.
If you're behind even $50 going into that month when the repair issues start happening, catch up first. You got to catch up first. Then, in our view, you can start making those demands.
And make those demands in writing. Keep a copy, whether in your email or a hard copy. Take photos that show the problem and send those to your landlord along with your written repair request.
How many times should someone make that request before they take it to the next level?
So 1 if by certified mail, 2 if by any other form of writing.
But let's back up a second. Even before there's a problem, know what you agreed to.
Be very knowledgeable of the lease agreement and ask questions. Get to know their landlords and the property managers, right? Develop that relationship.
So let's say you've done all of that and you're still not getting your problem fixed. Here's what the Texas Attorney General's office says you do next. Send your landlord a written repair request by certified mail. Return receipt requested. You can do that through the post office. That way you have proof that it was received. Then wait 7 days. The law presumes that 7 days is a reasonable amount of time to at least start addressing the problem. Then, if no effort has been made to fix things, you might be entitled to break your lease, to deduct the cost of the repair from your rent, or get a court order that the repairs be made. The AG's office recommends consulting with an attorney first, though, which is where those local resources could help.
We have partners, the Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid.
We can point you to some of those resources and walk you step by step through the process.
What about retaliation? That's so often what a tenant fears.
Under law, the landlord is prohibited, not just in response to that letter right away, but for the next 6 months from taking any sort of retaliatory action against you. So we get a protective window around you.
That's just after a written complaint is received. Texas law in general prohibits retaliation against renters if they're abiding by their lease and laws, which themselves can be confusing. A big reason why help is available.
They've entered into a contract. They would like to be made right.